Namaskar. My talk today is on the response of temple priests, temple patrons and temple believers to iconoclasm in the medieval period. I will take up the case study of several temples because the response changed from temple to temple. The first place that witnessed iconoclasm was Multan. Multan was famous throughout the world for its sun temple. The first eyewitness account that we have of the Sun Temple comes from the Chinese traveller Huan Sang, who visited Multan in the 7th century. Huan Sang wrote that the Sun Temple drew devotees from large parts of India. He also mentioned that kings used to send tribute to this temple. He described the image of the sun god as an image made of gold and decked with precious jewels. It was because of this image that the Arabs called Multan the city of gold. After the account of Huan Sang, we have the Arab invasion of Sindh. The Arabs had started attacking Multan within a few decades of the death of Muhammad, and for 75 years the Arab attacks on Multan continued sporadically. It was only after 75 years of sustained struggle that in 712 Common Era, Muhammad bin Qasim managed to capture Sindh. Now there are eyewitness accounts and detailed accounts in Arab histories that were written at that time on what happened to various temples in the province of Multan. I will just refer to the Sun Temple because that is a temple on which we have eyewitness accounts beginning from the time of Huan Sang. Al-Biruni says that when Muhammad Qasim entered Multan, he was told that the prosperity of the city was due to this temple. So according to him, Muhammad Qasim did not destroy the temple, but he just hung a piece of flesh around the image in a bid to humiliate it. But the Hindus managed to protect that temple by agreeing to surrender 1/3 of its income to the Arabs. The temple survived till 986 when Sindh fell to the Shia sect of Islam. So when the Shia rulers established their hold on Multan, they destroyed the image and the temple. So in 986, the temple of the sun god and the image are both destroyed. After that, we do not know what happens till around the 12th century, 1130 to be precise. In 1130, we have an account of a Moroccan, Ibn Idrisi, and he says that the Hindus have started worshipping the sun god with great fervor. So it means that at some time from 986 to 1130, some time in between these years, the Hindus managed to build or rebuild the temple of the sun god, because this is testified by the account of Idrisi. Now interestingly, Idrisi says that the sun image that is worshipped is an image of wood and covered with red Moroccan leather. So an image which Huan Sang described as made of gold now becomes an image of wood. The next eyewitness account that we have in the 13th century says that now the worshippers of the sun god are only confined to the temple. That means that the priests are the only people left who are worshipping, and they are confined to that temple. So here we are able to trace the evolution of the fate of that temple from the time of Yun Sang till it is destroyed by the Shias. Then a wooden image is substituted and it remains under worship. Now, at some point we have an account of a French traveller, Thévenot. He visits in 1666. In 1666 he writes that the sun worship is continuing, but the image is of wood. Now this raises several questions. First of all, we are very clear that the image of Suryadev was destroyed in 896 as stated by Ibn al-Biruni. After that we have evidence that a wooden image is substituted and worship continues. After that there are many invasions, but the image comes back. So the question is, at the time of further attacks, did the devotees run away with that wooden image, hide it, and when the theft or when the danger was over, they reinstated it? So that is a possibility that is worth exploring, but it shows two things. It shows the commitment of the worshippers of the sun god to that deity and how they are able to change the murti in the wake of new challenges, and how they continue and they don't abandon sun worship. Then finally we have information that the sun temple was destroyed under the orders of Aurangzeb. So after that a mosque is built at the site of the sun temple, and we have no evidence of what happens in Multan to this tradition of sun worship which exists long before Yun Sang came. Because when Yun Sang comes in the 7th century, he said it's a flourishing. It didn't happen at his time. He found something that was already flourishing. So from 7th century till Aurangzeb, we have connected accounts of foreign travelers who are writing about the fate of the image and the fate of the temple. Final account that we have is from the reign of Aurangzeb, when the temple is destroyed and a mosque is constructed at that site. There the story ends of this particular temple, but actually it doesn't end over there. In the colonial period, British archaeologists excavated at that site, and it is surprising that among the finds that they discovered over there was a full stone image of Suryadev, and that image they took with them back to England, and that image is kept in a museum in London where we can see it till today. So this is just one story of the fate of a temple, of the murti in that temple, and how the murti changes according to the situation in the period. The golden image becomes a wooden image, it gets covered with Moroccan leather, it is kept in worship, taken away, and finally in the time of Aurangzeb that site is lost forever and a mosque constructed there. But as I said, excavations revealed a full image of the sun god. So this is one very interesting example.